Dr. Jazz.
Hey guys,
Dr.
Samo here.
Jazz.
Thanks for checking out the channel and its contents. And if you feel like it, please do subscribe. Thanks so much. Enjoy the video. Bye. Man, thanks for finding the time. Appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Love your playing for a long time already. Like you're one of the most unique voices, I think. Like
Oh, wow.
it's like it's so different what you do. I mean, obviously you have the vocabulary of tradition and everything, but just I think you're pushing for something new. I really love that. So
Thanks very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's really, really kind of you to say. I think it's really important with jazz. I think that's the whole point of it, isn't it? 'Cause
yeah,
I think it is about having a unique voice, something unique to say.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know if it's a kind of like a totally self-conscious thing. It's just that it just kind of comes out my sort of funny little ways of doing things, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's like our generation. I mean, you're slightly younger than me, but so many players come out of this. I'll put it like that, Kurt Rosenwinkel school. Like having the slight delay
Hmm.
and it's like they're all playing amazing. But the previous generation had this amazing skill, or like you hear Pat Metheny two notes, and it's Pat, Scott Henderson, John Scofield, all these guys. And many times in the younger generation, this is lacking. And I think you got that. I don't know what, like you said, whether subconsciously or consciously, but you're always kind of searching for some new stuff sound-wise, and that's quite
Oh,
cool.
it's really kind.
Yeah,
I think yeah, I kind of agree with you on that observation. And I think there's a tendency with like jazz to me was always like the most sort of expressive and slightly kind of like it had this like I think it's got quite like a renegade aspect to it, which all of the older generation of players really kind of typified. If you think about like what it must have been like when you first heard Charlie Parker. I mean, like where did he come from? What was that about? You can hear it's connected to something before it, but it's definitely like this sort of brand new attempt to do something original and not kind of be conformist. I think over time with art forms as they become more recognized and they kind of move into institutions, it gets a little bit more conservative.
yeah,
And I
exactly.
think it's probably in quite a conservative stage at the minute.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
it's nothing negative, like in a sense, but
Oh,
I just like I said, observation. Like it's I find it interesting um, that search for the sound, especially the sound. I mean, that's like I've done so many master classes, and like guitarists come and they sound amazing, but I wouldn't recognize them. I would be like, yeah, it's Mike Moreno, it's Rosenwinkel, maybe, I don't know, and I miss that sometimes in the younger generation, this searching for sound different, and Ant has that as well. I think who cooperate a lot with Ant Law
yeah,
and
because
trying for
Ant's
something
got
different.
like I suppose similar to me in a way. He's not completely partisan to just playing jazz guitar.
Yeah,
And I think that's the amazing thing about this instrument. There's still not. It's still a really young instrument. It's only been around for
true.
like what 80 years or something like that. I don't know. Whenever Charlie Christian slapped a pickup onto an acoustic guitar and could solo over the Benny Goodman big
Yeah,
band,
exactly.
it's really there's not really an agreed way to play this yet.
Yeah,
If you play like violin or piano, there's hundreds of years of repertoire, and you have to have your hands like this, and there's certain schools of violin playing, like is it the American school or Russian school or whatever, and there's an agreed way to play these things. They've figured it out, whereas this no one's really figured it out yet. I don't
yeah,
think.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's still like a ton of room for people to do really brand new things with it. People always come up with innovations. But yeah, I think Ant, coming back to the Ant thing, Ant has he's similarly like into quite a wide bag of
yeah,
guitar players, as well as all the kind of amazing jazz guitar players and that language and that kind of vocab. he's really kind of, you know, he comes a lot out of the kind of 90s instrumental rock thing.
Yeah,
In,
yeah,
you know, I remember when I was growing up, I was really into that too, and my teacher was really into that kind of world, and I used to love all those. You know, every time there's a new Satriani album would come out or a new Vi album, you had to go and get it. And like that's a point of like crossover for me and Ant, that we both had that in us, you know, as well as trying to do all the jazz thing as well. And
yeah. Where does your I mean, where does your story with Ant begin? Because you know, two guitars, it can be not so often. I mean, obviously, we guitarists play with each other's standards and whatever, but you seem to have developed really a beautiful language together. How did that happen?
it started in, I think it was about 2021 lockdown. Yeah, there's the word. It's come out already in the interview. But I guess sick of hearing about. But it was Nicholas Meyer, you know, who plays with Pete Oxley and
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Nick's an amazing player. He played with, you know, Jeff Beck and all these.
yeah, Jeff. Yeah, sure.
And he's super. And he had this idea to put guitar players together and do like an online concert together. So there's about 25 of us, sort of, you know, the UK jazz kind of guitar player crowd, and Ant got in touch and said, can we do something? Because I know Ant's always, I've always kind of, like, me and Ant have always got on really well, and
Yeah.
I know that he was into like a lot of my bands early on when he first moved to London and stuff, and he'd often, you know, be in the crowd and stuff, and I'd chat and things like that, and I've always been the same with him as well, with that, you know, the trio HLK and all that kind of stuff, and all the stuff they've done with Evelyn Glennie, and it's amazing music. So I've always really admired him. And he was like, should we team up and do a thing? I was like, definitely, let's do it. So we wrote a few little things, and then we played Joe, and it just felt really nice, you know, felt very open, and I love Ant comping. He's really great at comping. He's just got so many really great ideas, and it's never like too conventional, but then it's not too cryptic. It's just right. You know, he really plays for the moment and plays for the tune. So I just really enjoyed playing with him, and we just remembered that, and we'd kind of cross paths on various gigs and things occasionally, and keep in touch about stuff. And about 2 years ago, we said, like, should we start a project, you know? Because I'd kind of come to the end of a project, and he'd come to the end of a few things, and it just felt like a good idea to do this thing. And I'd really go down the guitar route, because I've released a lot of music, and I've played on a lot of things. I've produced a lot of records and albums for people and stuff like that, but I've never really like done like where I've just put the guitar like front and center as like in a much more obvious sort of way. I think maybe I have, I don't know, but this is what this has been about. You know, it's been really fun to just push the guitar thing with Ant.
Yeah. Will you guys release something or?
Yeah, we just finished recording.
Oh, beautiful.
In beginning of December. That was like the kind of like our last kind of big thing in the diary, was to get this album done. With Connor Chaplin on bass.
Oh, beautiful, man. Yeah.
And Jamie Murray on drums.
Sure. Oh, man, great rhythm section. Wow.
Yeah, so they're amazing. They're so really sympathetic, and they really get the thing we're going for. So we finished recording that, and we're just going to actually sitting down today after this to go through all of the mix.
Oh, beautiful, man.
I can't do that thing where you go straight into sort of editing and mixing it. I need a little bit of space.
Yeah. I'm the same. Yeah.
I've made that mistake before, where you're like, right, great, we've got this stuff, then you go back in, and the next day you start making, you just hate it because you haven't.
Absolutely, yeah.
Critically, kind of, it's too close, and you need a bit of like, rather than like a microcosm, it needs to be a bit of a macrocosm, I think, when you sit down and do that. But yeah, we aim to put it out. I mean, realistically, probably early next year, I think, something like that.
Fantastic. Oh, looking forward. Yeah, I love like this, you know, like I can see your house from here, Schofield and Martini. I love that album. You know, it's like, because how cool they can talk to guitars. So if they listen to each other, it can be so beautiful, man.
Great. It's a great instrument for playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the guitar is a brilliant, like blending instrument. It blends with, like, if you think like all those classic guitar tenor albums, you know, Jim Hall and Sonny Rollins, or, you know, Lovano and Schofield. There's just so many of them, but it kind of blends with anything. Like I love guitar and piano. Like I love playing with Kit Downs. I like for years. That was a that was a really eye-opening thing, was playing with another piano player and realizing that actually, yeah, it does work. It's just an instrument. It's just a chunk of wood with strings on it. It doesn't have, it's not like two harmony instruments can't work. If you think about it and you listen, you can totally make it work.
Yeah.
It's similar with guitar. It's been really fun actually, like especially writing with Ant, because he's always got tons of great ideas, and we just shared all the writing between us for the most part.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sometimes I'd get kind of halfway through a tune and I'd be like, Ant, I'm out of ideas. I don't know where this one's got to go now. So he would finish it, and then
Oh, that's fantastic, man. Yeah.
so he would do a similar thing with some of his tunes, and I would edit them down. He always would write like 50 pages. Like, Ant, we only need 4. Like, this is too much, But yeah, it's been really fun, and like nice things like putting polychords together, and
Yeah.
because we've got the option of playing all these different chords and different keys together and trying to make that kind of thing work, and just exploring what you can do with 2 guitars.
Yeah. Oh, really curious to hear the album, man.
Oh, thanks.
Really curious and
send
excited,
you-
actually.
I'll
Beautiful.
send you a copy when it's done.
Oh, man, please. I love both of you guys playing, so it's really nice to hear you. I wanted to ask you about your language. You mentioned Satriani before, and
Yeah.
when does jazz come into play for you? I mean, UK I love all the guitarists from the UK scene. I don't know why, like Mike Walker, John Paricelli,
Yeah.
the kind of more straight ahead guys, if I put it like that, and then Holdsworth, McLaughlin, the big stars, and then you have Derek Bailey investigating the kind of open scene, like
Yeah, Jeff Beck. I mean,
Jeff
there's
Beck, yeah, it's list goes on.
it's a
Yeah.
it's weird how many like really influential, amazing guitar players came from the UK.
Yeah,
It's a really kind of, for the size of the island, the population. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is, or what it is, but I think the guitar thing is just a big
UK thing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, it always has been. And then the kind of British blues boom thing that happened in the '60s and stuff, and
Insane, yeah.
yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's like having a common tongue with America, and both speaking English, and I don't know. Maybe
Maybe, yeah.
filters across into language. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
But I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, and especially UK guitarists, they're so good, but they don't make it to the continent. Like, speaking of jazz, like, to Central Europe. Like, I did this interview with Mike Walker the other day, who I really love Mike's playing.
I love Mike. I think Mike is just such a
Underrated guy,
He's insane. Like, he's so good. I had a few lessons off Mike when I was at college.
Really?
I got a few private one-to-ones with him, and we both teach at the Royal Academy in London. So sometimes I'll see him in there and catch up with him. But I adore his playing. I think he's one of the most musical,
Yeah.
powerful musical brain on him. He's just his ear and everything. His tone. I love it. Love it all.
Where did you then get the jazz bug? I mean, like, that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, you mentioned you went through the rock world, which kind of you can hear in your playing, actually, and I love that always in jazz guitarists. But when did the jazz bite happen for you? Like, did you hear someone, or like?
I mean, I always I think it's always been there from an early age. Like, my dad had really good. He wasn't a musician, my dad, but he had really good records. So he had loads of like B.B. King and Albert King and Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters. Remember, like, we had all these CDs and records and things in the house, and loads of Steely Dan, stuff like that. And my mum was really into Chic and Nile Rodgers and Prince, so there was all this really cool funk rhythm guitar stuff. But the thing I really loved about those records was nearly always the guitar solos, like the improvised bit of it. And I was like when I was a kid, when I was 9 or 10, I was just the biggest Hendrix nut ever, and still am. I still think he's like the most.
He was,
Unique, kind of amazing tone, just unbelievable ideas. Great, like really great approach to rhythm guitar playing, where it's kind of like that Steve Cropper thing in between rhythm and lead. But it was always his improvised things and how loose it felt that I loved. So for me, it was like a very natural transition into, like, I got into like the fusion guitar thing via sort of Satriani and Vi and all that. And it was, again, like all the kind of legato-y lines they would play. It felt very free and loose to me and improvised. And then that led me into, I had a great guitar teacher when I was a kid called Jimmy Savage, who's still in Newcastle, still teaching Savage Guitar Studios. If you
I
anyone,
have to check him out. Okay. Well,
he's great. He's very good, brilliant educator, fantastic, and he got me into like Mike Stern and Schofield. You know that A Go Go album, and
oh
then
yeah, sure. Yeah.
that Mike Stern album, Play. You know,
Yeah. With Frizzell and yeah, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Oh man, you have the same tone. Come on.
it's all that kind of. And I remember going to see that was the first like jazz gig I saw was Mike Stern with
I'm the same, man. We have the same story. It was my one of the first jazz
really,
gigs. Yeah, Stern. Bizarre.
I think what a great one to see because I went to the Kendall Arts Centre. We drove over to the Lake District and went to see him there, and it was just so. It was really joyous. It was such a joyous thing. It wasn't like there was nothing pretentious about it. He was just having so much fun, and like, and it was the sort of dynamic range in his playing that really got me because I was so close to him when he's playing. He'd be playing things, and you could hear him play the chord, and then he'd like roll it in, and just hearing that. Like how sort of intimate he was on the strings and with the guitar, that was like that was a fresh thing. And then of course he'd be absolutely blazing away and doing his thing. And I've seen him. I must have seen him play about 10 times. And his gigs always like mega fun. You know, I always love seeing him play. But that was kind of like my gateway drug into things. And I got his Standards album.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
You know, where he does like was it
Great No Chaser and all that. And yeah. Yeah,
It was all, you know, just trying to learn all that stuff really got me like thinking about changes and bop and all that stuff, and then off the back of him I got into all the Schofield things and Wayne Krantz and then Bill Frisell was a big one for me. I had to stop listening to all the Frisell.
I'm the same, man. It's too addictive to listen to him. I immediately got then, you know, that huge reverb and started bending the neck. And when I listened to some albums I did, I was like, man, that's too much Frizzell influence there. It's like...
I know, yeah. I was the same, you know, when I was at music college and stuff, I would do gigs and people would come and say, oh God, you sound like Bill Frisell. And I'd think like, oh yeah, I'm nailing it. And then I realized, oh, you can't do that. You have to try and find your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, all that, or when he was, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
Beautiful harmony.
Oh man.
Gorgeous, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange Meeting and all those tunes and like, oh, dude.
Yeah, great, and like great, like similar to kind of Schofield, like really great composer as well. Great tune.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was my kind of gateway, and then after that, I started listening to a lot more old school players, you know, so like a lot of Jim Hall, Wes Montgomery, that kind of stuff, and just all of it, you know, Holdsworth, everything, just all of it at the same time. And then I suppose more recently I've really kind of got into country guitar a lot more.
Really? Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah, I love the tone that they get, and their approach to string bending is so novel, and like string bending is such a unique thing to guitar. Like that's a kind of a bit of a shame about like the really modern younger kind of a generation approach.
Yeah.
Like there's this whole thing about like boomer bends and stuff, and I just think like what a shame not to use that facility with the guitar, because it's the only instrument that can do that. You know, you can't do it on a piano. You can't bend a string, and you know, vibrato is like it's such an integral part of all the players I love. You know, it's such a personal fingerprint that you get of them when they play.
Yeah,
you know, similar to string bending. But yeah, the country thing, I love all those guys, and I've started to learn pedal steel now as well.
Ooh, man, that's a heavy one.
Yeah, this I've only been doing it a year, and I'm hopeless, but I'm trying.
Oh yeah, I love Tony Rice. I mean, I checked out Tony Rice a little bit, but he's so fast, man. All these guys, like,
yeah, they're insane. You know, it's a whole other sort of world of guitar playing that I'm just getting in. I mean, I'm just learning about really.
I'm scared to dive. I know them, but I'm just like, oh shit, it's such a universe. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one to check out actually. Yeah. When did you move to London, Chris? Then.
I moved to London in 2005.
Already? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I had no intention of doing it really, because I was living in Leeds up north, and I was playing around there, and I had plenty of work, and I was sort of settled there, and I was teaching on the Bath Guitar Festival course.
Yeah. Wow.
I think I was doing like a rock course or something, and there was a guy there called Milton Mermakides who he was a great guitar player. He went he taught music production at the Royal Academy in London, but he was a great jazz guitar player as well. And then he heard me on a lunch break. I was just playing some standards and stuff on my own, just practicing, you know. And he walked past, and he said, "Oh, can I play with you? I play jazz as well." And you know, everyone's just playing rock all day long, and I really want to play some tunes. So he started doing that, and then after, you know, he said, "You know, you should go and do the postgrad course at the academy." And I just thought, wow, I'm done with education. I've done that. You know, I'm working now. I can't be bothered. And he rang me up in the kind of November, December time, and he said, "You haven't applied. Like your application is in, but I've spoken to the head of the course, and he's agreed to kind of put you on the list to audition." You know, so he kind of forced me to do it, and I did it, and I got in to the academy and went there and did a postgrad, and that's when I met all the kind of the people I still have sort of musical relationships now. You know, like, you know, Kit and James Madron and Trish Clue, and all these really amazing players and musicians who, you know, we've all sort of grown up together and recorded and toured and all that kind of stuff together. Yeah. So it was pretty transformational for me, that. And
how was it like to you when you came to London? I mean, in a way, there are so many musicians in London, but you know, when I go to New York, I always get the feeling of, you know, so many clubs and so much playing, and there's some sort of a scene and people meeting, you know, jamming. And when I come to London, I'm kind of always, I mean, obviously there is a scene and so many players, but it's so scattered in a way. I don't know how.
Yeah, I know. Well, in New York, you can go there, and just like club after club after club. In like New York, like instead of building outwards, they built up, didn't they? So everything is like geographically much closer. Yeah. So all of the clubs and the venues are a little bit closer. You can almost kind of walk to most of them. Whereas in London, it's, you know, this town goes back to the Roman times, and they didn't need to build up. They just built out, so they spread. You know, like it's 70-80 miles from one side.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's an insanely big town. So the venues are so far spaced apart and things. I know what you mean. It never really feels like there's a kind of a beating heart to. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with you. I think as musicians, we all know each other and come across each other and do things. And that's what I noticed when I moved to London, that there was a much greater spirit of collaboration. There was less. Everyone was like super open-minded. You know, I remember like having people would travel like ridiculous distances just to come and play for an hour and a half.
Oh wow! Okay.
You know, I couldn't convince people to kind of come 2 doors down to sit and have a jam or an afternoon. It was much harder. It felt much harder to get things going. And I think most of the time, most people, musicians in London, they're not born there like I was. And I was born way up north in Newcastle. And I think most people who end up in London are kind of doers and strivers, and they're there because they want to start doing stuff and they want to make shit happen. Yeah. So there's a bit more of a kind of a can-do thing with people. But the open-mindedness thing was really apparent, because there wasn't any, the levels of proficiency were much higher. You know, everybody could read, everybody knew, like, you know, hundreds of tunes and could transpose them in any key. Everyone could like play a blazing bebop. Everyone had really great chops. Everyone, you know, could play free. Everyone could play, you know, groove music. Everyone was into something a little bit different. So everyone had this massive skill set, and weren't that kind of, it didn't feel like they were too partisan to one thing. Yeah. Whereas in Leeds, it felt at that time felt a little bit more like, you know, he's a free guy and he's a groove guy. Yep. He's a pop guy. It felt a little bit more like that, and it was a little touch more. I struggled kind of to fit in a little bit. I probably didn't have the confidence at the time. And I kind of liked it all, you know. I liked all of it, or bits of all of it. I just always wanted to kind of combine stuff and see what would happen. Yeah, that was in the past many times. Like I've spoken to so many New York guys that were like, you know,
if you played with Art Blakey and you were part of the straight ahead scene, like you cannot do then the free stuff. And if you're a more avant-garde guy, that's what you are. It's kind of, it was like tuk, tuk, tuk. Nowadays I think things are changing. People are actually playing, like you said, everything. They can play the heaviest changes in 11 or whatever, and they can blow free. And this is the beauty of nowadays. I think that most of the players, at least at a certain level, can do that, which is great, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. I think levels of proficiency have really
Oh man, yeah.
in the last few years, and it's probably because there's so much access to it, isn't there? With you're only ever like a click away on YouTube from finding like the best person in the world showing you exactly how to do something. Whereas, I'm old enough to remember sitting down with a little stack of record like CDs like this and listening and just transcribing things and wondering if you're doing it right, or wondering if it's like that's the thing, and not really being sure. And I think that's maybe why some of the slightly older players have perhaps a more unique sound sometimes.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to figure your own way a little bit more if you haven't got access to everything. There's no definitive answer, I think, is the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Chris, you mentioned Kid before, and I remember the first time I heard Troika. That was for me like I was like blown away. I love that band so much. What did that mean for you? And I think you gained quite a lot of attention, right, in London or UK then. Like, how did that band form, and what did that mean for you as a player, especially? And
it was when I was at the academy. I was on the postgrad, and Kit and Josh they were doing the undergrad, and I was just writing all these like quite unusual little guitar tunes that I'd be doing, and I was studying with a guy. A big part of the writing was like the rhythmic thing. We wanted to really focus on placement and rhythms and all improvising together, like a collective improv thing, kind of like more like a Dixie thing or something like that, but just like really kind of like challenging sort of rhythms, I suppose. And we were all studying with with Barak Shmuel at the academy, who's an amazing educator, and he's a complete expert at like rhythms, Cuban rhythms, Latin rhythms, West African rhythms, Indian rhythms, all this stuff. So we'd be trying to play this stuff, and it completely opened my mind up. And he had some really salient things to say about composition that completely changed the way I think about music forever.
What did he say? Do you remember?
Well, just this. Some of it was incredibly complex, and he has a real brain for telling you these very complex things. But some of it was very simple things, like if you want to create more tension in your writing, put things in the gaps of each other, and if you want to make less tension, have it in agreement. And he would show us examples in Cuban music and all this kind of stuff. So I just started to think about that thing. If I was writing something, I'd write it down, and then I'd look at it and I'd try and spot where the gaps were to start a counter melody or to have a bass line start, in the gaps, and it just kind of it made it feel like a much more sort of 3D written experience, and it just gave it a uniqueness, I think, with that band. But we didn't set out particularly to try and make a name for ourselves with it. We had these tunes and we were just playing around London, and then I think we were still students then. We just thought, maybe I'd just finished. I think Kit and Josh were still students, but we just thought, we'll go in the studio for 2 days and just record it and send it off to a label, see if they want to put it out, and they did. And then we did get quite a bit of attention for that for the first few recordings we did, and certainly in the UK. And then we ended up touring around Europe a lot more.
You went also to Europe? I didn't know that, man. Okay.
Yeah, we played quite a few festivals and different venues and things all over Europe. So it was great. We did a big band version of it, the Troikestra, where we took all those.
Oh, really? Did you record that?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I have to find that. I don't have that one. Okay. Wow. Okay.
I think it was 2014.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It was really fun, really challenging.
Yeah. But I can imagine because the music offers so much orchestration. Actually, you can hear the levels can build up, and it's amazing. Amazing. You were like what 24 or something like back then when you guys did that, right? Or 23 even, or
Yeah, we like mid-20s, that kind of
amazing.
age.
Yeah,
When-
that's such a mature album.
oh, thanks.
Amazing. Well, I wanted to ask you also about you mentioned composing before, and everyone I've spoken to, and kind of the word came to you. Everyone praises you, including myself, as a composer. And I listened to Warmer Than Blood today, and which is kind of under your name,
Yeah,
the first album. And first of all, I find it really amazing that you did your debut album not with drums and the usual shizzle with bass, but you are like piano and electric bass. I was like, dude, man, that's insane. That's incredible, sound wise, and the compositions are so good. And how do you, how did that album happen? Actually, Warmer Than Blood, and you as a composer, what was the process there? Because many times you're listening to it, and it's like many parts you don't know whether it's composed or it's are you openly blowing and you gel into something and again open it up. What was the concept behind there? And you becoming like a band leader, I mean, like under your own name.
I just it was when did I do that? I think it was 2018 when I did that, and I needed I'd become a dad in 2016, and I found it really difficult to keep writing. I mean, I write all the time. If I sit down, it just starts to come out, and I just document it, and then I'll turn it into a score later on. That's usually how I do things. But when I became a dad, it just like flipped my whole world on its head. And I found it very difficult to keep writing. Playing
Yeah,
was
I
fine.
hear you. Yeah.
I could stay on top of the playing and things, but I wanted to get back to being like doing the band leader thing, kind of like more like what I was doing in Troika. That was more of a collective, but most of the tunes were probably mine.
Yeah.
Um, and I just really missed that. So for the first time ever, I would just schedule like writing slots for myself. I'd kind of say to my partner, like, look, I need 2 hours, and
I
then
do that the same. Yeah.
you got to do it. You got to be more organized and realistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everything on that album was written in a really short space of time because I was like, whatever I get done in this time, that's what it's going to be. And that's it. A lot of it, the writing was done pretty quickly, but the rehearsal and the kind of playing thing took quite a while because it is an unusual lineup.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, and both players, I absolutely just adore their musicianship. Like Kit, I just love playing with Kit so much. And he really gets inside my head, and he knows what he often. I'll take a tune, I'm a bit unsure, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know what this is. Oh, and am I still on there?
Yeah. You're cool.
Okay, great. And then I would take a tune, I wouldn't necessarily be too sure of it, and Kit would just take a look and he'd go, no, this is really cool, we can make this work, and he'd have loads of good ideas with how to get inside of it and how to arrange it a little bit. But I wanted it to be electric bass. I'm a real fan of electric bass, especially like plectrum bass and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really cool sound. I've always loved that. And I love, like, Ruth is such an unusual musician. She's not, there's nothing conventional about what she does. It's very interesting. And at the time they both lived very near, so I could go around there and be very kind of efficient with my time, and we could rehearse and we'd sit and play together, and a lot of it was just trying to get that instrumentation to blend
Yeah.
in the right way. I suppose more like kind of like it's quite chambery, that album, like a chamber.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And just really thinking about the sound, and our time, working on our time together, so that me and Ruth, we'd hit the strings at exactly the same time. We'd sit and watch each other, and just to get things really blend. It's quite an intricate little album. That it was quite an intricate little process to get that to feel like that, and I really enjoyed it. And doing it without drums as well, you realise there's a certain dynamic level that you just can't get to if you haven't got drums. So the headroom on the album is kind of like, rather than being from like here to here, it's actually like from here to here. So we have everything we do has to be in this zone now. So it was a real challenge. I learned a lot about that, and just trying to blend piano and guitar without drums there, because drums, like, they strip a lot of frequencies out your guitar sound, and that kind of thing. Getting it to blend was tough, but I really enjoyed it. And
Yeah, it's beautiful arrangements. I mean, like
I,
really nicely done. I mean, so nice, really nice album. I find it so cool, really, that you know, you did like under your first name such an album. It's like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna do it, and it's so nice. It's really cool. And
I think also, like, I can't imagine ever really doing like a standards album. You know, like I love playing that music, and
yeah,
it's really part of my kind of character, all those tunes and that way of playing. But it's just such a there's so many amazing yardsticks that are already there that by players, you know, monstrous players that have done it, that instantly you're kind of being compared to that, you know.
yeah,
And I just can't I can't imagine like wanting to do that to myself. You know, I think like having unusual lineups quite appeals to me, because
yes,
you can kind of apply your own field, and you're not surrounded by these amazing sort of temples of music that you get compared to, you know.
yeah. I'm the same. I played so many years with a bassless trio, like only drums, guitar,
Mm.
and you know, sometimes violin or saxophone or tuba, or just to avoid this kind of, you know, falling in the hole, like, ah, shit, I sound like that,
Yeah,
and that already makes it easier, you know, skipping a bass. It's like, oh, okay.
yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? Not
Oh,
having a bass in the band. It's
and I love
tough.
the bass, but just for me as a guitarist and composer, I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. I will not go into my usual path, so it
Yeah,
forces you to think differently, and that's quite cool. So
yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been preparing something new as a band leader? Otherwise, I mean, I'm waiting for another one, another Chris album under your own name.
I've got like there's the album with Ant is going to be coming out. We've just finished recording that, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
So that's like a joint leader thing. And then last year I went to Berlin, and me and Kit made a duo album.
Oh, wow.
So we
Okay.
just finished mixing and mastering that. That's going to come out probably next year as
Oh,
well.
beautiful.
Um, and so that, yeah, and that's the completely improvised thing. We didn't prepare it. We were tempted to prepare things, and then we were like, no, let's just get together and see what happens.
Oh,
Let's
I love it.
see if it
That's
still feels good, and it did. You know, it's always really fun to play with it. Um, so that's coming out, a free album. It's gonna be. I think we're gonna call it Sunday Service. Yeah, and then I've got another duo album with singer songwriter Sarah Gillespie.
Oh, yeah. I think it's on YouTube, some footage, right? Already, if I'm not
I think
mistaken.
there's a few bits floating around. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. We did I helped to co-produce her last album in Berlin, in Hansa Studios in Berlin, and wrote quite a few of the tracks with her. But we just really enjoyed collaborating and writing that music. I love writing songs. You know,
Mm,
I've always worked with instrumental music and jazz and things, but it's been a really wonderful experience to sort of write something, and then Sarah will ask me to change bits of it or add something to the form, and then she finds a melody and lyrics to go with it, and that's usually how we work. And like we've written some really beautiful things, I think. But we're going to finish recording that in about 2 weeks' time. We've got half it done, and it's a lot more kind of folk, Americana, country
beautiful.
kind of feel, you know. And we're trying to keep it quite stripped back. And I'm even singing some backing vocals and things like that for the first time ever, which is terrifying. But I love songs, and she's such a hell of a talent. You know, what a singer and a lyricist, real artist. You know, real poet.
It's nice to work with singers. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. It's really fun. But I think that's going to come out in October, November kind of time, and we're going to be touring around November around the UK and things like that.
Beautiful. So it's going to be really active, like the second half and then the beginning of next year. Lots of new stuff coming, right? And albums.
Yeah, yeah. Like this year was a lot of spade work with recording and writing and
Yeah,
setting things, and then this year will be all the kind of admin, boring shit, getting it, getting it,
yeah, yeah.
getting
Beautiful, man. Fantastic.
you know,
Yeah.
booking,
I,
booking and things.
I wanted to ask you just one more thing, not to take too much of your time, like, but how did your story with Benny Greb begin? Like, I love what you did with him, and there's like one incredible jam that you guys on YouTube have, like this. I think it's a duo, And the stuff you're doing there with effects and stuff, I love that stuff so much.
That was a what? That was the first time me and Benny played. Like,
Really, man,
yeah,
that's like killing. That should be an album, just that. That's like
we did
40 minutes of that actually.
talked about that ages ago. We're like, why don't we just chop that up and put it out?
Oh man,
Maybe I might speak to him, see if he's up for it. I'd love that. But yeah, Benny, love him. He's what a guy. He's amazing, amazing musician, but like a really, really, really great guy as well. Um, we were playing in a project kind of 2009, 2010 with a really great composer called Colin Towns.
Oh yeah, sure.
Um, and Colin's worked a lot in like film and TV, but he also he used to play in like Ian Gillan's band and things like that. Really lovely fella, great writer. And he asked me and Benny to be in his small group jazz thing that we did. So we toured that a little bit, some gigs in Europe and around the UK, and made a few albums. There's a project called Blue Touch Paper.
Okay, let's check it out.
There's a few nice albums that we did with him, and then me and Benny we'd kind of like have little jams during the sound checks, just the two of us, and we were into kind of similar music and things, and he wanted to put a band together. So I just went over to his, and we just improvised for a couple of hours and recorded that thing. And then it turned into the band Moving Parts with
Yeah.
Kit to come and play keyboards, and we made a couple of albums with that. And then Chris Hargreaves played bass for a bit, and then Yannick came and did some playing.
Yeah.
But we haven't played for a while. We haven't done anything for a while. It'd be nice to rekindle that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the connection. Beautiful, especially when that improvised duo, like you're doing something with a pitch, or I don't know what it is, like, and he kind of catches you and you catch him like on the snares and going over, and it's like, oh man, what is going on there? Like, so cool, like so much listening there, and you noodling around on some effects and stuff, and it's beautiful. Nice improv moments.
Oh, great!
Really cool.
He's great musician, Benny. Really,
Yeah.
And I love his sound. It's just his tone. It's rare that you hear a drummer when you stood next to the drum kit where they have a tone that comes off the kit like that. He's really got that together. Fantastic player.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like absolutely hilarious as well. Really funny.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans of coming to our parts of Europe, or like Central Europe, touring wise, or I mean project wise? Yeah, I guess you're going to be busy, like you said, but
You know what? I used to play in Europe a lot, and then before we turned into Brexit rock,
oh yeah,
it's made it a little bit tougher.
I hear you. Yeah.
So, but yeah, most of the gigs I do are on Brexit rock these days. I do still tour overseas, or playing in Ireland and places like that this year. But I don't think I've got too many things in Europe currently. I'd like to. I'd love to book some more gigs and dates with Ant in Europe. Actually.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Would be beautiful to hear you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be around, just drop me a line. I told Ant already. Also, like, we have a guest room here, and come and hang. If you like white wine, we're in the white wine region, so I'll show you around. So
yeah, definitely. That sounds good.
Play and jam and everything, so would be cool.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hang live.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I'll leave you a nice afternoon now. So yeah, it's
Thanks very much. It's really fun to talk. But I also I run like a mentoring program as well for musicians who are looking to kind of up level their career and put out their first album.
Oh, what was that? Can you tell more?
It's on my website. It's you can sign up for some mentoring sessions where we kind of try and up level your career, get things happening for you, get studio time booked, and work on your music, your set of music you're going to record. There's quite a few musicians who've been out of college for a while and wanted to do their own thing have come to me, and then there's some really nice albums coming through that they've
really. Oh wow, man.
Yeah, so
that's a cool idea actually, because many times students from jazz universities or conservatories, they come out and they have zero. I mean, they know how to play their instrument amazing, or whatever instrument, but they have zero knowledge of how to book a gig or organize a tour, or
yeah, exactly. And it can feel like quite a big step to put out your first album, or to to write a set of music and actually put it in a studio and kind of put your flag in the ground and just say, well, this is me, this is what I'm doing, this is what I make. So it's nice to work with that and just encourage them and help them, give them permission to do it. You know, it's really what it's about. But you can check that out online if you want to.
I will definitely. Yeah. Cool. It's a cool idea, actually. It's a really cool idea.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a blind spot for most people if you've like I've always been in studios and recording and putting out music. So for me, it feels quite normal and natural to do that. But if you've not done it before and you've never dealt with labels, or you've never booked a tour, you've never like written a press release for yourself, or you've never had press photos done, all that stuff it takes up quite a lot of kind of brain space, and you know, it can be quite an anxious thing to try and do. You know, to try and figure out like how do you want to be perceived as a musician? How do you actually control that a little bit and get the right idea about your music across? It's tough. It's quite hard to do.
Yeah. That's an important question. It's good that you're addressing that. I mean, for younger guys.
Yeah.
Who are just starting out. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's a big one. That's a really big one. Yeah. But cool.
Right.
Chris,
thanks ever so much.
Thanks so much. I'll send you a link when this is out, and we can then share it and everything. And so, yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man. Really, really nice. Great interview.
Yeah, thank you. It was really nice talking to you. So,
You too.
and hope to meet you live soon. So.
Yes, please. That would be lovely. I'll be in touch when all these three
Oh
different.
man, please let me know. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably search it myself but if I forget, just please let me know. I would love to.
Fantastic.
Cool, man.
Lovely,
Stay strong.
mate.
Say hi to Ant if you see him today or whenever.
I'll ring him later on. Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
chat about these mixes and edits and things.
Yeah. Looking forward to these. So.
Real.
Cool, man. Stay
Take
strong.
care.
Bye. Ciao.
Dr. Jazz.